And let me say it this way: been allowed to run, let alone have been elected. He should be sitting in a federal prison right now. Um, and Section 3 of the 14th Amendment prohibits insurrectionists or those who gave aid and comfort to insurrectionists from holding federal office. There's any number of legal and constitutional reasons why this piece of shit should not be president right now, should be disqualified from being president, should be sitting in a federal prison. But we know what's happened. We know the people who have failed us, and there are many, from Merrick Garland to Mitch McConnell to the Supreme Court, on and on. But beyond that, now that he is president, and now that he has committed so many crimes in the last year as president, has committed so many egregious violations of the Constitution in the last year, why has Congress not done anything? Why have they not removed him from office? Well, I'm going to tell you why. And let me preface my comments here by saying I'm not recommending anything. I'm not urging anyone to take any specific course of action. This is simply my observation as to why Congress has not done anything. And let me say it this way: as to whether or not Congress ever will impeach and remove him from office, I've said this many times. I believe it. It is true. They will impeach and remove Donald Trump from office if and when, and only when, they fear the American people more than they fear Donald Trump and his cult. Because here is the reason Donald Trump has not been impeached and removed from office. And it's not just politics. It's not just, oh, they're Republicans, they're not going to do that to a Republican president. Because I'm telling you, and believe me when I tell you, most Republicans in Congress hate Donald Trump. They hate him with a passion. Now, there are some full on Trump cultists in Congress. That is true. There have been Trump cultists who have gotten elected since, in the Trump era. So there are full on members of his cult in Congress, but they are the minority. Most Republican members of Congress hate his friggin' guts. And you see Republicans defending him all over the place. Really, it's a small handful of Republicans that you see on TV and elsewhere in the media defending Donald Trump at every turn. It's just a small handful. Most Republicans are cowering in fear. Most Republicans are keeping their head down and their mouth shut. They don't want any part of this. They don't want to defend him. They don't want to speak out against him because they're afraid. But most of them do not support him. Most of them are scared to death of him and they hate his friggin' guts. Now they vote, in lockstep for those same reasons, that they're scared, they're cowards. Um, and here's the real reason. The reason they haven't removed him from office is because they are afraid. They are afraid on two different levels. One, they're afraid politically. We all understand that. They're afraid of losing their positions. They're afraid of having primaries. They're afraid of being voted out of office. They're afraid of Donald Trump turning on them. And if he turns on them, the entire Republican Party, most of the Republican Party will turn on them. Trump can get them primaried. They can lose their jobs. You've seen what has happened to other Republicans who
Well, I don't know about you folks, but this ain't looking like the greatest country in the world anymore. Like I say, I don't know about you folks, but this ain't good. I mean, some of you folks are bad people, right? But at least you have morals, right? There's just certain things you ain't gonna do. You're like me, right? But these people, this whole thing went on. I'm guessing there was over a million, probably over a million women, close to it, and children. Excuse me, traffic. People are like, "Are you kidding?" Yeah, I'm thinking that's probably about the numbers. Probably about 900,000 or so, close to a million. Yeah, big operation, spanning in other countries and everything. Pretty crazy. But why are these people even in power? This guy is saying the reason Congress hasn't impeached him and this and that is because Trump's got so much power. They're afraid of his cult or regime or whatever. They're afraid that he'll kill him. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? It's all crazy if you ask me. But I could tell you this much: the average American that got caught doing what these guys have done, and the evidence is out there. Not, oh well, no. You would have been locked away forever, if not killed. But I don't know what's going on. These people don't live by regular citizens' laws. You know, they just pay big fines or whatever. And you know what? I see a difference of somebody making a mistake in their life and they do something bad or whatever. But like I always keep saying, Lord, I mean, these people made a lot of money and it went on for years and years and years and years. This was going on before. This was going on back in Clinton time. But this this has been going on a long time, folks. It explains the missing young teens. It explains it. How they're taken from one side of the country and they're dumped on the other side of the country for prostitution, whatever, sex, labor. And just like they're taken from here and put in another country. You know? Yeah. Do we keep doing this? I don't know. If we keep allowing this, America's over, folks. Integrity, morals, everything godly. All right. This is showing that we live as the same as we did back in AD, back when Jesus and before Jesus came, of where this is how they lived. They sold people. They sold children for sex. And people are like, what? That was back thousands and thousands. Yeah, and it never changed. It was here before Jesus and it's here now. Nothing's changed. Just different people. We're talking a big organization here, folks. Where did they go wrong? Well, I don't know. If they would have found one woman, maybe younger than them, and married them or whatever, and that was, but they were sleeping with numerous, numerous, numerous people, probably more than Magic Johnson, probably more than any of these people. I don't know. If it's true, we don't know, Lord. Right? We asked the Lord to reveal things, and now all this is coming out. So it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. If this wasn't real, do you think if the Lord is doing that, knows all? I don't know. This is just too much. Let's continue watching this. Let me put this guy's video in my chat. I mean, it's a three-party system, and it's supposed to be designed in case we get wackos in there, and they use the presidency in our beloved White House just as an scapegoat. Folks, they don't care about us. The only reason they want in is so they can get their people pardoned from murders and rapes, whatever, and make a ton of money. They promise us one thing as they're running for president, and once they get in there, it's a totally different thing. People being pardoned that should have never been pardoned. I agree with some of these people now. It's crazy. Right? I mean, Trump's doing the best he can because he's president. We have to support him, right? That's what they always told us when we were going. Whoever, don't matter what you think. It's the president. You support the president. It's America. All right, but I'm not. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it at all. People talking jealousy. These people are just jealous because they didn't bang 3 million people. They didn't sleep with 3 million women or whatever. I don't know. But are we going to let this happen? I don't know. It's one thing to do something with one woman that you're in love with behind closed doors. You freaky freaks. Nothing wrong with that, right? But when you're doing it to many, many, many people, and then you're making money off of it, and then you're actually prostituting women out for campaign donations, and that's where it's you folks keep saying it's greatest country, it's Constitution, it's over. It's corrupter than anything.
Tried to oppose Donald Trump, criticize Donald Trump, speak out against Donald Trump. They've all been driven from Congress, including most recently Marjorie Taylor Greene. You never would have thought that would have happened a year ago. She was one of the biggest Trump cultists out there. So they're politically afraid. But I think even more importantly, they're afraid for their own personal safety and that of their family. And here's what it comes down to. They have not done anything to rein in Donald Trump, even in the most modest way, because they fear political violence being directed at them and their families from only one side. That's the reason. They don't fear political violence from the left. Now, they say they do. It's all bullshit. They're not worried about their own personal safety because of political violence from the left targeting them. They're not worried about that. They're not worried about political violence from the left targeting their families. They're not worried about that. They only have fears of political violence being directed at them and their families from only one side, from Trump supporters, from his cult. The same people who attacked the Capitol on January 6th wanted to hang Mike Pence and probably would have murdered Mike Pence if they had gotten him. Other people, other Republicans they think are rhinos, and certainly any Democrat they could have gotten their hands on. they would have murdered on that day. They all know this. That
Well, I thought they were going to get rid of Mike Pence because he sold Indiana out or whatever. I remember people in Indiana saying if he ever showed back up in Indiana, that they were going to rip his head off. Now, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if these people are Trump supporters or whatever. I have no idea. But this is politics, folks, where people are dying and they're using the Lord's name, right? They're claiming they're under God, but yet orgies are going on and all kinds of stuff is going on. That's just pretty crazy to me, folks. That's 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 pretty crazy, and it's all out there for even the children to see. Heck, the children are involved in it. I mean, not baby. I don't know. I seen a video yesterday where a lady offered Jeffrey Epstein her baby for money, and he bought the baby. He bought the baby from the woman. So what the heck is going? I don't know. I would have. If they would have said, "Hey, we're taking the children to a safe place. They'll be treated good. Things are happening. We're trying to get people together underground. We're not sure what's going to happen. We're worried, but just in case, we're getting a group of people. But that's not what was happening. They were only worried about themselves, and they were having their way with these women and young kids or whatever. So that's pretty crazy. Now, and here's the more crazier thing that they knew about it, like our intelligence agency and all these people, and they all knew about it. No one did any. They let them corrupt by White House. You know, before they should have said no, no. They should have threw charges on them, whatever. And no, this person ain't running for the presidency because the only reason they're trying to become presidency is to save their little thing and their people or whatever. But now it's out there, it broke, and now people are saying, as we all thought, well, it's all fake. They're just trying to do this and that, but it turns out no, we haven't even seen the ugliest of it. And I hope the people don't ever have to see how ugly it really was. Now, all this going on, would Trump do crazy stuff? I don't know. And people turning this into racial stuff is crazy because we don't want to go to war over there for anybody right now. America's in bad shape for ourselves. You're automatically a racist. And now people are saying, well, God said that the Jews were his people, but it's possible that God changed that because things never happened that they said was happening, and God's not with them or something. They're not the chosen people anymore. The Lord changed that, and the Lord has every right to. Right? The Lord might be upset because they're calling this a genocide over there. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. If I lived over there and I ran the country and I was the only country without nuclear weapons and I'm surrounded by people with nuclear weapons, right? Countries all around me with nuclear weapons, and you're always getting attacked, but you ain't got nuclear capability or certain stuff like everybody else, then yeah, I would be upset too. I'm just saying that's like someone in the USA, uh, you know, abusing you, but the person next to you, they're loving and kind and everything like that. Right? Discrimination or whatever you want to call
At, I think more than anything else, and certainly the political aspect of this, losing their positions in Congress and all of that, that's definitely a real factor. That's part of this. I think even more importantly is that they fear political violence being directed at them and their families. And they only fear it coming from one side. So, not doing anything to stand up to Trump, to do what's right and impeach and remove him from office, not doing that, allowing him to get away with all of this, allowing there to be no consequences to him whatsoever for his crimes and his constitutional violations.
It costs less per wash. That's why it makes sense.
Not doing anything is not going to subject them and their families to political violence. They don't have any worries. That's the safe play. If they're worried about themselves and their families being targeted for violence, they're not worried about that if they let Trump get away with all of this. They only are worried about it if they try to do something to stop Trump. And that's why they don't.
Well, it don't look good. That sounds like blackmail, extortion, and dictatorship. That's what it sounds like to me. But, I'm an idiot. We are just voters. We are puppets. Some people were attacked because we didn't want to vote, and they attacked people. Some of us said, "You ain't giving me nothing to choose from but crooks and thieves and madmen. I don't want to vote." Well, that's when the threats came. Well, you don't vote, we're going to take this and that and this and that. Come on, Johnny, you're gonna vote. You're gonna vote. You don't want. If you don't vote, you don't really want to know what's gonna happen. There goes your health and everything, right? Yeah. Hell with all the, excuse my language, Lord, with all the people that trespassing on us and controlling us or whatever. They're probably working for the politics. We ain't got no choice to vote, or we get a spell put on us. Next thing you know, we're at the voting office voting. Anyways, you vote for whoever they put in front of your face. You talk about stuff with democracy and all that. No, democracy. You vote for the richest man. Whoever the richest man can buy to run for president and get in there, that's who you vote for. I don't know. Pretty crazy if you ask me.
Because they only fear political violence being directed at them from one side. And I think that that's just the fact. And we know that to an extent, that is a fact. We know that that is why many members of both the House and the Senate in that second impeachment trial refused to hold Trump to account. Members of the House, Republican members of the House, didn't vote to impeach him, And members of the Senate who knew Trump should be convicted and who wanted to convict him, they didn't because they were afraid. And we know this because we had members of Congress who said that that's what they were told by these Republicans in Congress and a lot of them in the Senate, that they just couldn't do it because they were afraid of political violence being directed at them or their families. Remember, that conviction or that Senate impeachment trial happened just a couple of weeks after the January 6th insurrection. And they saw what Trump supporters are capable of. And they know, they were scared to death. Even these fucking Republicans who go out and defend Donald Trump every day on Fox News because they want to be president themselves one day and they're pandering to the cult. I'm thinking of people like Josh Hawley.
You know, there was a video put out today or the other day that I seen. And I'm starting to wonder, is this real? Let's take a look at that. And from what it seems, I think it's probably real. This is somebody Trump wants. They want me dead, of course. They want me dead. They can't control me. Not because I don't agree with them or anything. It's because I won't submit to them. I refuse to let them control me. I don't know what to say. People.
Epstein files. Fuck Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't care what you do. Start a fucking war. Just don't let them get out. If I go down, I will bring all the...
Sounds a little rough. Are you feeling all right?
I feel great. I was shouting at people because they were stupid about something.
Not releasing the Epstein files. Fuck Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't care what you do. Start a fucking war. Just don't let them get out. If I go down, I will bring all the...
Sounds a little rough. Are you feeling all right?
I feel great. I was shouting at people because they were stupid about something.
Haven't we been through enough as retards or no? Maybe the mafia is right. Trump's 100% mafia. Gangster. And now we're all being held hostage. I know I am. You can go ahead and keep MK Ultra in me or whatever, but I'm dumb, but I ain't that dumb. I know when somebody's being used or hostage or whatever, right? Well, I don't know about you folks, but all I could say is I can't stand for this no more in America. Get us somebody in there that's going to bring some peace, stabilizing morals and integrity and this madness. That's why I told Trump, do anything. I made video about it. Do anything, but you don't want to run for president. You run for president, and it's over. It's over. You're going to have cameras up your butt. You're going to have people on it. You're going to have anything you ever did is going to come out, and it's over. Right? Whoever runs for president has to have a pretty clean record. I mean, you can be in trouble. You know, he stole bubble gum from a store. Maybe they're saying even felons can be president, right? You held up a bank or whatever. They're like, oh, he still can be president, even though he held up and stole America's people's money. He's qualified to run for president. It's like Ernie Shell running for Kentucky mayor or whatever, senate or whatever it was. Right? He's legal. I think he did a murder and he like raped some girls and tied them up or something. Yeah, but It does not matter. He can still run for mayor. But what? You can have a whole city raping and pillaging, right? Because the mayor did. Come on. I can't. What happened to America and morals and integrity and money, greed, power? Most of these people have been sitting in power for over 30, 40, 50 years. Got so cushy with the money and the madness. And now we got 350 million people that are poor and going crazy. And everyone else is sitting around laughing as they're screwing, they're having giant orgies. Right? Like I said, there's nothing wrong with a man and a woman that are attracted to each other. What they do behind closed doors, but when it's all over the place, I think there's a porn coming out soon. Somebody said some of this stuff was recorded and everything. It's new porn coming out of the island. What? So there's gonna be some porn and everything. I don't want to see some 98-year-old man and some. This is just crazy. It's just crazy. Crazy. And then they bring the religion into it. Right? They bring the religion into it. And then it turns into a holy war. And now you're so afraid, petrified. Yeah, I can see how they're just like, we don't want to. Just let him do his terms. We'll vote. We'll have to put up with it for 4 years or whatever. And maybe. Then again, I keep telling people we don't know the situation here. Maybe Trump was working for CIA. And it was a whistleblower on Epstein. I don't know. Maybe Trump's seen this is going to get ugly, right? He knows he did wrong, but he got out. Some people are looking at maybe he did get out. Told people to stop. It's hot. I don't want none of this no more. And then went to the CIA and was like, hey, this is what happened. Right? I'm just waiting to see Jimmy Swagger, right? Trump breakdown. Lord, American people, I have sinned. Well, yeah, we all are sinners, but good God Almighty. And they were making money. I bet you that's how they made most of their money. Everyone's saying Trump was a horrible businessman, never paid anybody. Even the mafia was like, we're not working with him. We'll get screwed. That was the mafia construction guys. Oh, that son of a bitch screwed me for about $2.5 million. Right? Then called the government on me and everything. Yeah, these are stories I've been watching. Now, I don't know if it's true. Mr. Trump is innocent till proven guilty in the court of laws. Hilarious? Oh, it's hilarious. Serious? It's serious. Right? This proves that no matter how much money you got, you're still a sicko even before you got the money. Maybe you weren't a sicko until you got all this money, and that's what made you, power. And I could do whatever. I could rape, pillage. I mean, Trump has come out and told the American people he could shoot somebody in the forehead in the streets, and nobody would care. He'd walk away, and he's come right out and told that to people, to the American people. He's so popular, he can kill people and not even get in trouble for it. And that's crazy. And that explains all these dead bodies. We're all going underground. He's gone nuts. He's gone completely nuts. He's bombing everything, blowing everything. gone completely. We were supposed to have a 3-party system, but I guess Trump killed them. He killed them. I ain't messing with him. Are you kidding me? Just let him do his 40 or whatever. I don't know. It's crazy. This is nuts. It's nuts. Completely crazy. I never seen anything like this. In the presidency, I mean, we had Nixon, right? Watergate. What was that? That baby crap. It was just, he panicked and pulled out. Right? He made a couple deals and everything. They were trying to get rid of somebody, and he was using other people and stuff to try and do it. And he resigned. He got out of it. He walked away before the real shit got released, and then they would have impeached him. Hell, even the blue dress. Clinton wasn't this crazy. Well, it was crazy, but now all that's coming out. It's just nuts. It's just crazy. The whole Obama thing and his wife and everything, and she's hung like 12 donkeys. I mean, I don't know. I've never seen anything like this. I would have to say it's just gone too far. There's freedoms, and then there's so much freedom that now it's demonic. It's demonic. Right? I would have to say, I mean, I believe in the freedoms, but too many freedoms, and now you become a monster. And that's what we're seeing, folks. I ain't never raped no woman in my. I ain't never had to. I ain't never paid money to have sex with. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how these people get away with it. Who knew? I was raised, if you're attracted to a woman, you let her know. If they want, you start dating, whatever. You just don't walk up and say, I got about here's $20,000. We're going to sleep together. I'm sorry. I've never done that before. I wouldn't even do that. I wasn't raised that way. But today, it's all about money. Power, what kind of car you drive, yada, yada, yada. Well, I guess it's always been like that. Yeah, I don't know. I can't live that way. Maybe you folks are, but it's free will, and I choose not to live that way, even if I did have billions. I'm not built that way. I find me one good woman. Fall in love, and that's it. And I just ain't built to have, the player and all that. I mean, some of these photos are starting to come out of the diseases that a couple of these gentlemen had, and I was like, ew, look like a cauliflower patch. But that also proves that there is medication out there to cure you. Because after seeing that one photo of Jeffrey Epstein's body, they would have had to take medication or an act of God to get him back to looking normal. So we know there's medication out there if you got enough money to cure you of things. They just pick and choose who lives and dies. Oh, you're poor? Yeah, sorry, you're going to die. Oh, you mean you got money? Welcome to our world here. Shoot you with something. And 72 hours, you feel great. So we know that the whole thing is just demonic. Why? Because the Bible said so. This earth is the devil's playground. But it also belongs to the King of all kings. And that's God, the one that created it. So we stand with God, and hope that medication like these guys were getting makes it into public use for the poor in Jesus' name. I don't know. I'm sorry, folks. I just wasn't built for this. I'm really sorry. I just wasn't built for that. And here's the thing: is we've been worshiping, well, not worshiping, praising the White House. That it's a sacred place, but that's where we went wrong, because you cannot. The Lord said, "Give unto what is God to God, and give unto what Caesar's is Caesar's." Right? You can't do both. Right? You can't serve both. And they've somehow woven it into government, and the whole thing is just now it became demonic, because the Bible was written that we worship the Lord, not the government. The government was the ones that delivered up Jesus to his enemies, and the sacrifice, and the crucifixion. And they didn't have to do that. They could have let him free, or at least give him jail time. Right? They didn't have to torture him. They didn't have to do any of that. And I believe that was a sign from the Lord saying, look at, they crucified him. He's my son. So for these people to sacrifice him, to crucify him, proves that the government was evil. And they sacrificed him only because he was the Son of God. Well, I know that's pretty crazy. And if that's the way I think, I might be wrong. I thought it was a sign that, hey, look at what these people did. They didn't have to crucify him. But then when they went through with it, maybe the Lord said, well, now he's dying for all your sins. You know, all man's sin. Amen. That he did that. But I can't. I'm not built this way, folks, to do that. It's just, I need a break from the YouTube acting, all this crap and drama madness we watch 24/7. We watch it, we absorb it, and then we spew it back out because it's not good. 24/7 of nothing but crime, trying to solve stuff. Watch, this is horrible, but here we are watching, here we are wrapped up into it. It's like a curse, a spell, right through the TV waves, right through the internet, right through everything. I don't know. It's pretty crazy if you ask me. But I'm the idiot, from what the scientists and everybody said. Great imagination, incredible, dumber than a doorknob. So here I sit, and that's fine with me, Lord. That's fine with me. But so I'm one to believe the Bible's real. We're all under a curse. We're all under spells by the devil. And not today, devil. So what do you believe? I don't know. Let's continue to watch this video and see what this guy has to say.
He fancies himself a future president. He went out to that assembled mob before they stormed the Capitol, and he gave them a fist pump. Remember that? And then just a couple hours later, security cameras inside the Capitol showed his cowardly little ass running away from the mob, getting the hell out of there after he encouraged them. I see people like Mark Wayne Mullen, piece of shit MAGA senator from Oklahoma. Now, I don't know if he has designs on the White House himself one day, but he's all over Fox News. And he defends Donald Trump at every turn. There's video of him inside the Senate chamber on January 6th, hiding underneath, hiding behind chairs, underneath desks, hiding, cowering in fear as other people are barricading the door against the mob. He's hiding. They were afraid for their lives on that day. Every member of Congress was, including Republicans. And here's the thing, because you might be thinking, well, Democrats voted to impeach him, and Democrats voted to convict him in that Senate impeachment trial. Why weren't they afraid of political violence being directed at them? Why just Republicans? Well, many of them, maybe they were to an extent, and they just showed more courage. That's a possibility. But I think the real reason is because the mob would expect, Trump supporters expect Democrats to vote to impeach him. They expect Democrats in the Senate to vote to convict him. So they're not angry at Democrats the way they would be angry at a Republican who voted to impeach or voted to convict, because they see them as traitors. They feel that they would have betrayed them. And you are far more angry. And an angry mob is far more prone to violence if they feel betrayed by someone who was supposed to be on their side. There's far more anger and the possibility for violence for betrayers than there are for people who they already expected to vote that way.
Well, it seems that America is under hostage situation by our own White House. Olympus has fallen, part 2. This is crazy. Well, folks, I can't sit here and really get wrapped up into this madness. We've been doing this movie channel thing here, making our own movie. People are like, let's watch this movie. No, this whole thing is a movie. It's all about, I don't know. Acting is you become possessed to play a role. I don't know how or what it is, but I don't even want that anymore. Never did. I think I'm just walking away from everything. I might play a little guitar or sing once in a while, but it's just too crazy for me, folks. And I just ain't gonna sell myself for these people. I ain't that dumb, right? I don't even have anything to sell. I don't even know who I don't know. I don't even know what to say. But I can tell you this much. In 50 some years, I've never seen anything like the madness we're going through in the White House. You know? I don't know. What makes us vote people in that are either rich or famous TV? It was like, remember Reagan? Well, Reagan wasn't too bad now, was he? Reagan wasn't too bad now, was he? Everyone's talking about the ex-presidents. Things I guess weren't really too bad. No, I didn't think so. Gas is up to $3.30 or whatever, even higher than that in some spots. All here in Indiana, even in Michigan now. Indiana is surrounded by all cannabis owners and stores and cartels, whatever they are. uh, yeah, I never seen it this bad. You know, I never seen it this bad. Too much drama in the White House, folks. And you have to look how some of these ex-presidents handled themselves with this, with the situations they had when they ran. You know, I guess some of these guys, even though they made bad calls, uh, it wasn't as crazy as what we're seeing now with all this stuff, right? You know, but who are we to judge? These are all innocent people to proven guilty. And are we jealous because they had their way with any woman they really wanted? And not only a real woman of age, you know, the same age as them. Uh, many there, that was a thing. I think, man, that's the hook right there. Right, you get all this money, but how did you get it? And once you did get it, what'd you do? I don't know. I think they call it God syndrome in America, where they were tempted and took the bait from Satan. I don't know, maybe, or they've been saved by God, and no matter what they do, they ain't never gonna get in trouble because they're saved by God or whatever. Maybe, I don't know. I don't have all the answers. Bo does. Make sure you ask Bo does. He knows all things. But do I believe there's something bigger going on when this comes out recently? It sounds like someone throwing a tantrum or don't want somebody to leave America.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, I don't care what you do. Start a fucking war. Just don't let them get out. If I go down, I will bring all the...
Sounds a little rough. Are you feeling all right?
I feel great. I was shouting at people because they were stupid about something.
Not releasing the Epstein files. Fuck Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't care what you do. Start a fucking war. Just don't let them get out. If I go down, I will bring all the...
Sounds a little rough. Are you feeling all right?
I feel great. I was shouting at people because
This is crazy. Now, this could be all AI. Trump might not have done anything, and this whole thing was created by AI. Maybe that's why Elon got on Joe Rogan's and said, I'm worried. And Joe Rogan's about what? AI. Oh, no. You know, Rogan's like, hold on a minute. I'm going to have to light up a doobie for this one. Tell us about AI. And then Elon goes on to tell everyone about AI. Right? Which AI has already been introduced into the system a long time ago. It's just people didn't realize it. And then Elon said, well, we're worried about it taking over everything and becoming people that they're really not. And what are we seeing today? Photos, everything, people coming out and everything, you know, all AI generated. Well, AI has taken over the world and none of this even happened. All fake police warrants, all fake arrests, everything. All created by AI. And all along they knew this was happening. It was a monster they couldn't control. In order to stop it, they would have to shut down completely internet system. Completely. And start a new one. And not introduce AI into it. I want to thank all you people for watching tonight. If I don't make it, you know it's because I told the truth. In Jesus' name, all glory goes to God, King of kings. We sit here and suffer, but we would rather suffer, Lord, than to bow down to Satan and their powers. They'll strip us of everything. So we believe in God, we pray to God, but we're on earth still, and we might have to work for this beastly, demonic thing. And it's got to be demonic because it's sleeping with animals and even men. Demonic demon. So forgive us, Lord, for being mad at this world. We're not mad at you. We're mad at Satan in this world. And all glory goes to God. Now, you folks have a great night. You can call me crazy. You can call me Jack crazy. You can call me Stray Jacket crazy. But I'm just a product of the United States of America. Now, you folks have a good day. Well, good night. And I'll be back with a peaceful fire tonight to chill and relax. Hasta la vista, baby.